Hey, and we're live. Welcome to Musings episode number 257.
That's right. We should open up like the 80 shows where it's like they're putting up something and it's like the openings. Everyone would always do this sudden turn and look at the camera.
It'd be like
oh, I didn't know you were there. Hey, viewer.
It's like the kids show. Oh, hi, welcome, come on in. I don't sound creepy at all.
Like, did you see somebody did that? Like, if the Predator had an 80s opening, and it's perfectly the way they did everybody smiles and it fits. And it's always to the Full House theme music.
Well, it's the best one. They had the best one of the best like 80s openings and that. That's what the and then you have the 80s montage, which Family Guy parodied a couple times and different things. The best 80s montage though. Do you remember DC Cab?
Oh God, was Mr. T in that?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Yes.
Okay. We have a little bit of a lag. It looks like, Scott, just so you know.
Yeah, there's a big meeting going on in the office, so the bandwidth might be struggling over on this end. Just to warn. Okay. So just if I freeze, just keep moving forward,
like you just did. Okay. So DC
and to
Cab,
illustrate the point.
Yeah. So DC Cab, of course, I was around like 1983. Love that movie. Adam Baldwin was in it. It's one of his early roles. He'd done a few things before that, but it has a great midway through. It's the typical 80s thing where, hey, we got money and they fix up the place, and then the last half of the movie is a whole different plot than what the first half was. So it always has to change stories pretty much. So so 80s montages and 80s openings, sitcom openings are the best. So
indeed.
Well, I'm going to start us off with Loringer Family Chiropractic Center, located in Belleville, Michigan, and Dexter, Michigan. And they take great pride in providing the finest chiropractic care to each and every patient, offering on-site digital X-rays, massage therapy, orthotics by foot levelers, young limb essential oils, aromatherapy, full line of vitamins, all in a family-oriented environment. Give them a call at their Belleville location, 734-697-4244. Visit them online at LoringerFamilyChiropractic.com. You can still visit at Musings to get the link there. And then, of course, here at Loringer Family Chiro on the Facebook. We got them there. You can check out some of the stuff they have going on. Get the address over on West Columbia and check out some of their hours. They're opening. Well, they're open now. This has been up for a little while. So they are open 9 to 1 and then 3 to 7 for today. So a lot of different times they can try to satisfy your wellness needs and a lot of cool things going on. Right. So definitely check that out.
And then we also have Team Titans of Real Estate. Why? Because you matter. That's right. Even though we utilize the latest in tools and technologies to maximize your home buying experience, we never forget, at the end of the day, it's still a people business. Jill and I, part of our job isn't just showing houses and things like that. Another part is just understanding trends and where things are going and how we can utilize those to best suit your needs and maximize what you can get. And one of those things is, we're in a market where interest rates are going up. So how can we as realtors help you to offset that? And one of those ways is the good old adjustable rate mortgage, ARMs, as they're called. Those are making a comeback because when you do an adjustable rate mortgage, you can usually get an extra % off or so from the normal rate. And what will happen is the rate will fluctuate over the course of the period. So let's say you have a 5-year, I'm hearing a lot of 7-year ARMs are being utilized right now. And you will have this fluctuating rate for that 7 years, but it's a lower rate than the fixed rate. And it'll save you a lot of money. Now, back about 12 years ago, a lot of ARMs had got a bad name. But the reason isn't because of the adjustable rate aspect of the mortgage. It has to do with the balloon payment that is due at the end. So the way it used to work is that if you had a 5-year ARM, you had a really great interest rate for 5 years. But at the end of the 5 years, you had this giant payment due, which meant you either had to sell the house or refinance the house. And back in 2012, when everything crashed, people had trouble working, making money, making payments. The value of the house was less than what the mortgage was. A lot of issues came to the surface from these adjustable rate mortgages. However, what's different now is we have lenders who are providing these, but there's no balloon payment at the end. So it will transition to a different type of loan at the end of the 7 years if you do a 7-year arm. So you don't have this looming anchor of payment due at the end of this period. So it gives you a lot more security in, if your situation changes and you don't want to sell, or if you can't refinance after 7 years, you're not going to suddenly be kicked out of your house. So give us a call, 586-232-5144. We have great lenders we work with. We'll be happy to hook you up with any of them. They can give you great advice on how adjustable rate mortgages or other things work. There's many different tools out there that are available for you. And by themselves, no one tool is good or bad. It's just simply a tool. Sometimes you need a hammer. A hammer is great. But if you need a surgical knife, a hammer is not so great. That's how these work. There's different tools available for different financial situations, and you want to utilize experts to find out which one's best for you. Team Titans of Real Estate, we're here for you.
Excellent. So I was going to share this real quick. Not going to get too much into this. I just started. I'm a few episodes in already, but we talked about this over the weekend. The Offer.
Oh yeah,
which is from
I'm hearing
Paramount
good things.
Plus. I got to tell you this. I am not a Miles
Teller fan.
Teller fan.
I'm not either.
I like him in this. I am surprised how much I actually like him in this role.
Mm-hmm.
Since I haven't watched anything with him in a few years, the last thing I remember him doing, I'm sure he's did something since besides this, is the Fantastic Four movie.
Fantastic Four.
Didn't watch it. Didn't care to watch it. I think he's matured as a person, and it's coming through in his acting in this. He's really good in this.
Well, I think he's also choosing roles that better fit him. To me, he's not an action star, but they were trying to put him into like these action roles.
Yeah,
so this seems like a perfect fit for him.
Yeah, no, this is perfect. He's got attitude. The character's supposed to have attitude. The person has attitude. It's the way he comes about. You learn where he comes from pretty quickly, and then how he gets involved in the movie business. They kind of skim over quite a few years real quick to get to the point of where he's a producer at Paramount, and Mario Puzo has already written the book, The Godfather. That's another one there. Gian Ribisi, that's his last name. What's his first name? Blank on it right there. But Ribisi's good in this too. I think I'll show you actors here. This is all just right now. They've got a few episodes on. Episode 6 coming tomorrow. But it's definitely a show that I recommend.
Yeah. So here I'm pulling up the full cast.
Yeah, it is Giovanni Ribisi.
There we go. Yeah, and we got Dan Fogler, who's playing Francis Ford Coppola, aka Nicolas Cage's uncle. Mm-hmm. Let's see. There's Giovanni Ribisi.
He plays a gangster.
Isn't that Phoebe's boyfriend or brother? I mean,
yes. Yeah, Giovanni's been around for a long
Phoebe's
time.
Brother.
He's done a lot of stuff. His sister. I think they aged him up a little bit in this too, heavier. Yeah. His sister is Marissa Ribisi. She was in like Dazed and Confused and did a bunch of stuff through the 90s. And that. Then you got Matthew Good plays Robert Evans, the head of Paramount.
Oh, Colin Hanks is in this.
Yeah, he's pretty good. He plays a little swarmy the TV side. At the time, Paramount was Paramount Golf and Western, and he handled the Golf and Western side, which was the TV end of the whole corporation.
He's a really good actor. I like Colin Hanks a lot.
Yeah, he's good, really good in his own way. So he doesn't. One thing I was like, he's worked with his dad a couple times. His dad's worked a couple of things, but he's always been trying to be his own actor, and not be Tom Hanks' son. But I really like the storytelling in this. So far, every episode is around an hour or so. It's been interesting to see this. Bern Gorman plays Charles Bludorn. He's the Austrian owner. I've seen him in a bunch of stuff. He's a character actor. It's been around for a while. Definitely seen him in a bunch of different things. Trying to pull him now. Oh, he was in Lost City recently. Oh, he's that's why I really know him. He's Venture Grath from Halo. He's one of the bad human guys in charge that took over the one planet at the beginning. He was in Enola Holmes playing Linthorn. He always plays like a swarmy type guy. So Pacific Rim Uprising, things like that. So when you see him, you'll recognize him. But yeah, I highly recommend this. This is something we talked about. I was like, I'm going to check it out. Lou Ferrigno's in it. Since you mentioned Lou Ferrigno, he plays a bodyguard to one of the mobsters. He's Lenny Montana.
Nice.
The little bit I saw him so far, he doesn't have any lines. He just kind of is there. Trying to see if anything else here is worth mentioning right off the bat. I mean, so far the entire cast has been fantastic. Juno Tempo plays the main guys, which is Miles, kind of his gal Friday. Seen her around a little bit. She's in Ted Lasso right now. She was on show called Little Birds, which is in Maleficent. She played Thistlewood. I remember seeing her in that. Lost Transmissions. Bunch of like independent stuff, smaller stuff. She's in Sin City, A Dame to Kill For, played Sally, and all that stuff. So she's been around a little bit. I recognize her right off the bat and just couldn't tell you exactly where, but I know I'd seen her in some of these movies and different things here. So
yeah,
so definitely.
I've heard a couple people talk about the offer over this last weekend. We were at Motor City Comic Con, and it was just a handful of people, but every single one absolutely loved the series.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, and that's
definitely on my to watch list.
Yeah, Paramount Plus is really trying to bring out some good stuff. They're not just trying to be another just streaming. We've got stuff to say. I mean, we were watching. I caught up on since we couldn't watch it at the hotel because it died on us. But Star Trek: Strange New Worlds. I finally watched the second episode. Yeah. Fantastic, loving that series a lot. They've got Discovery, which again has been very hit or miss for me. Mostly miss, but they're trying to keep the Star Trek universe going on that. Halo's been fantastic. Really liking Halo.
And they have Evil, don't they? Is that Evil or is that's CBS?
That that would be also Paramount.
That is Paramount.
Yeah, it used to be the CBS All Access. That became Paramount.
I have to finish the second half of season 2 still, and season 3 is about to come out soon. So I got to finish the second half still. It's one of those things you get. That's the problem with streaming because the way it comes out, you get sidetracked on something else, and then you forget to go back.
Yeah, and the neat thing is we've got they're really between like Disney Plus, HBO Max, now Paramount Plus. They're all kind of not doing the Netflix model of just drop the entire season. You get them once a week. And I like that because it's given us time to talk about this stuff and get into it. I mean, I've enjoyed binging stuff over the years, but it's actually nice to be able to say, hey, did you see this week's episode on the streaming channel? And you don't have to watch it like at one time. You can watch it whenever, but you got a week to talk about it before it comes out.
Plus, it's a stronger business model. I mean, it takes so much time, effort, and money to make a series. And when you throw it out all at once, the fans watch it, and 10 hours later, they're like, okay, what's next?
Yep.
And then they're like, oh, there's nothing good on here. You release it every week. It's like, oh, okay, cool. You got something to look forward to. You have a week to digest and talk about. But then as a subscription service, they own you for 10 weeks now instead of for 10 hours, Yeah.
And with the way a lot of these ones I've been watching lately, I've got several, episodes a week I'm watching. So, hey, Kev.
Kevin is in the house.
Kevin came to hang with us at the Motor City Comic Con. Didn't set up, but it was fun having all of us around for the weekend. So
yeah, it was a good time. Another thing we got to talk about at the the Comic Con this weekend was the start of our new Jekyll and Hyde Kickstarter. So that is officially up and running. So to be a backer, I'll put the link here in the comments.
Okay.
So feel free to go to the links, but minimum goal is only 1,200, so it's not a huge goal that we have to reach. We're already past the halfway mark there. We're at 753. I wanted to read one of the testimonials that came through here, though. We have a great super fan, a super backer. Her name's Anne, and she messaged me on the thing, let me know, I'm excited for the new book. I got the hardcover signed proof of Frankenstein, and it is really impressive. So I've pledged the same for this one. I also have all the Crimson Shadows issues and all of their covers. Wishing you lots of success on this Kickstarter as well. So as creators, we love getting that kind of feedback and letting us know, we're having a huge return rate on our Kickstarters for people who backed other ones, meaning, people are liking, once they find us, they're liking what they're reading and they keep coming back for more. Yeah. So our challenge, just to be blunt, has been these algorithms reaching people. And so any of you watching, even if you've already backed it, click on that link, copy the link, share it on your pages. That's how we grow. Even commenting on posts that we do will help people on your page see us. That's been our greatest challenge, just getting the visibility, because we're in a very noisy world now. A lot of competition just for people's attention, and it's hard to get that new base. But the existing base, absolutely loving what we're doing. So thank you, Ann. We appreciate your support. Another great super backer. You know, we have a bunch of them, and they keep coming back and are part of all these. And so that's a great testimonial. I just wanted to put out there as well.
Yep.
So.
And she's got all the covers, and as we can attest on this past weekend, we sold some more individual issues, and we're both running low.
Yeah, we have about 16 to 18 different covers total for our different Crimson Shadows books. So she has all of them. So that's really great. And we've had a number of times where at shows, people have come up to me and they're like, I would buy something, but I already own all of them. So it's really nice. You know, it's a good problem to have. It's really nice that so many people are liking the quality of our product and wanting every version of it. So, and we're going to keep trying to put the quality in. I'm working on the next. So we got the Dr. Jekyll book here, which is much like the, here, I'm going to take that down for a moment.
Okay.
So we had this is the paperback version of Frankenstein. It's the complete novel. The epilogue and prologue brings us into the Crimson universe. I did the same thing with the Jekyll and Hyde book here. So I love the colors on this. It came out great. Just like this one, the start of every chapter has an illustration. Then we have full page illustrations at the beginning and end. Yep. So, and then everything is available. So if you haven't done it yet, you can get the Frankenstein book as well. Along with, we have all 3 issues available of Crimson Shadows. We also have Wretched Realms. I have a few sets of Poe left, but only like 5 or so. It's very limited on our Poe. So you're about to, once they're gone, there's going to be no more individual issues of issues 1 through 3 of volume 1. So
yeah, I'm sold out except for a couple exclusive issues. I sold the last Poe medal I had over the weekend.
Yeah.
She really liked it, and then her husband mentioned it was her birthday, so I gave her an issue 2 I had, since I had my story in there as a little birthday present. But yeah, I've got like one issue 2 left, a couple issue 3s, all limited covers, and then I've got several of the Crimson Shadows still, but I'm definitely getting low. I've only got maybe 1 or 2 of the Frankenstein unlimited cover left. They sold out really good. So
another thing.
Yep.
Go ahead. Finish your thought.
Yeah. So my next show is what I'll be at. I mean, between now and if I do set up in San Diego, they'll be there. But otherwise, Colorado Springs in August, I will have whatever sets I have. But then I should have the trade for Poe. We should have. Well, I know Kevin and I'll be next to each other in Colorado, so he'll have that. And if we do have a Bardstone table at San Diego, I'll have them there as well for Poe. And then whatever I have left for Crimson Shadows till we get the trade done on that one.
I wanted to point out too, Kevin brought in our slabbed comics. For those who don't know, slabbed comics are comics that have been officially graded by a neutral third party, a professional company. CGC is one of them, as you see on the screen here. Another one is CBCS is the other one. Those seem to be the 2 top grading companies. We had a batch done, so I have them available in the Kickstarter. So I have them at a slightly reduced price, so than what I would normally do at shows, since I'm not trying to cover table costs or travel costs here. So I'm trying to give you a deal if you buy it through here. But we have a 9.8 graded Crimson Shadows 1. This is one of our limited edition covers, only 100 of them printed. This one is, the cover art is by Kevin Miner. He's our series inker. He did a great job on this cover. So that's a 9.8. It's also sealed, and the oxygen is removed out of there, so it won't yellow over time. So it's such a great product. And there's a close up there of the barcode. Then we also have a number 1, Wretched Realms. This one is signed by both myself and Kevin Miner. This is a 9.8 as well. The cover art here is, the inks are done by Sergio Cariello. He's a renowned artist. He's done one of the world's largest comic book Bibles, called the Action Bible. He also was a longtime Lone Rangers artist for that series. I think that was DC Comics. I forget.
I think it's Dynamite.
Oh, was that Dynamite? Okay, thank
Yeah.
you. I know he's done Batman and other things as well through DC, and he's
Mhm.
done work with Marvel. He's done so much. So this one is actually signed by me, the series creator of this, and interior artist, and then Kevin Minert there. 9.8. We have a 9.6 of the Poe issue 1. This is Kevin's series. This is his baby. This is the regular edition cover. We have a 9.8 of Poe issue 3. This is the ultra limited cover. Only 25 of them were printed. This is number 15 out of 25, and it's a metal cover.
That's the one I sold out of over the weekend too.
Yeah, so
Love that cover.
Oh yeah, it looks gorgeous on the metal too. The photos look nice, but it doesn't do it justice. When you see it in person, it's much better. And then the last but not least, I've got a 9.6 of issue 3. This is the Kickstarter exclusive cover that I did the cover for.
Mhm.
And you have that one there. So that's it for those. But I want to point those out. Those are available through the add-on menus. So even if this is all you want, pledge $1 with and don't pick a reward, and then go to the add-on menus and you can add what you want.
Yep.
But then we have a number of all of these things are through the add-ons. I'm not going to go through them individually here because it'll take too much time, but you can see there's a large selection of add-ons. And then these are the reward packages. So there's bulk orders for educators or retailers. So it's a wholesale price basically. And you can get the different books individually or together like that. So just wanted to point it out to everyone.
Excellent. Yeah, not bad. You just launched it on Monday, right?
Monday it launched. Yep. So we're I don't know, about 60% maybe. And then we'll get there. And this is a shortened one. Usually I do 3-week Kickstarters. This one's there's only 13 days left. I think it was 15 days when it launched. Okay. So this isn't going to be a long drawn out Kickstarter. Just short and sweet.
Yep. Buy early, buy often. Chicago method.
That's right.
So very cool. Very cool. So
what would you like to talk about next?
Well, why don't we cover Ozark?
Okay, let's do Ozark. It does make me want to travel to the Ozarks now.
I've driven through Missouri. I've been to Missouri a few times over the years in my lifetime. Not been to the Ozarks itself, but I did drive across to Kansas City. So I did see like exits for the Ozark, stuff like that. You can see stuff off in the distance there, but it's kind of interesting. I know I listened to the Bob and Tom show, and one of the guys in there, him and his brothers go fishing in the Ozarks every year. So he's talked a little bit about that and says nothing like the show, of course. It's just, it's a nice place.
Everyone there isn't like Ruth.
Right.
Did you watch so the series has come to an end? Yeah. But did you also watch the behind the scenes special they had? It's a 1-hour thing.
Not yet.
That was good. It was worth watching. I really enjoyed it. The different actors talk about it. One thing that's revealed is how involved Jason Bateman is in the series. He was director for the entire first season, and then they brought in a lot of guest directors throughout, and then he would sporadically go back in, and then he also handled the finale as well. But I think he may be one of the most underrated people in Hollywood as far as his diversity of range on all parts, whether acting, directing, or whatever.
Well, I know I did notice in the credits this last half, especially like Laura Linney there, she did one of the episodes. So they kind of let some people act or direct around it, which I noticed I do that a lot in story. It started around the 80s and that, but a lot of actors say, hey, let me direct some episodes here and there. And they wanted to learn the craft.
What was interesting in the behind the scenes, though, it was the opposite with her. She didn't want to direct. And through the entire series, they kept saying to her, come on, we want you to direct an episode. And so finally she came in. Yeah. and she liked it. She ended up enjoying it a lot, but she always thought maybe it sounded like she thought, well, I'm not going to be good at that. But she did it and she really liked it. So maybe we'll get future Laura Linney directed stuff.
And I think some do it just to do it, to see if they even enjoy it. And some I know, a lot of actors end up doing it because they want they're looking for longevity in their Hollywood career, and they know that as an actor they're going to be limited on certain lengths of that career.
Right.
You see different people like have come around. You know that they were big at one time. They knew that, okay, I'll probably never be as big again, so they go into doing some TV directing. Anson Williams played Potsy and Happy Days. He's been a director for years. Stuff like that. So I mean, that's just an example of it. And I've met him. He's a nice guy, and I've seen some of the shows he does. He does a good job. So, but Jason Bateman definitely came into this as, he directed a total of 9 episodes. I pulled it up on IMDb, so I'm looking at it right now. But it was really, he really put his hands in this when he came and got involved with this. He wanted to be a big part of this. And I think by directing it, executive producing it, stuff like that, it became his baby.
And if I understood the behind the scenes correctly, that was his. He says that was his catch. Like, if you want me in this, I'm directing it.
Yeah.
So that was his demand. Like, well, I'm not doing this unless I have control over it. And now, he's done a phenomenal job.
Now, looking at the directors, I noticed this name a couple times in the credits. Did you know the name Robin Wright as a director?
Yes, she directed some.
And that is the actress Robin Wright, formerly Robin Wright Penn, better known from a lot of movies.
The Princess Diaries.
Princess Bride.
Diaries.
Princess Bride.
Different movie.
She's been around a long time, and I saw that. I was like, oh, that's cool. She did 2 episodes, and so she did I remember those are all good episodes. So she's another one probably branching out a little bit. But yeah, so I think see this way the series ended, and we'll get into that in a few minutes here. But it really felt like, okay, Jason Bateman really wanted this to be a series that people will go back and revisit, not just from the acting point of view, but from everything. So he really put a lot of himself into this in terms of what he gave to it. But when you look at the writing credits, I don't see his name as a writer on this and that, but he really probably worked close with Bill Dubuque here, who is the creator. He did the story, and then he did, the teleplay of the episodes, and then they had other staff writers throughout all of them too.
Yeah, they talked heavily about the writers and the writing process and the behind the scenes, and there was a real strong connection between the writers and the director and the team. Just where what they talked about is how much everybody trusted the other roles. The writers had a great trust in Bateman to bring their vision to the screen. Bateman had trust in their writing. And there were things that were changed along the way, but it was not in a conflictive way. It was they said the entire series from beginning to end felt very much like family, how everybody worked as a unit. Even the guest director said, often when you come onto a show like this, everybody is so connected that you're this outsider coming in now. And they just said it was seamless. And everyone loved Bateman really set the vision for how the tones and the colors and the scene, how everything would be shot, where they would try to stay true to that while still doing their own thing. So it was a really neat, it's worth watching the behind the scenes for sure.
Yeah, I have to catch up on that. I like that stuff myself. I just hadn't seen it yet.
Yeah.
A little bit of time I've watched some of the stuff. I can catch up on some other series and that, but
I do wonder though with Laura Linney, has she damaged herself doing this role because she did it so well? I don't think everyone hates her now.
I don't think so. I think that going forward, she's going to have more opportunities, but she's got a great resume under her belt as well. I think that,
but I mean, like the average, is she now in that category of actor where walking down the street, people will be yelling, bitch, like just because they hate Wendy Bird so much? I
don't think so. I think one of the things is we kind of talked about different things people hate over the weekend a little bit, and people will say stuff to actors and actresses want to say something, but I think that she comes across in such a way that people are just they're able to separate, who the actress from the actor. Because she's done, she was in The Big C where she played a person with cancer, and in a lot of ways that character dealing with cancer and the way they did it was very similar to Wendy Bird. So she's kind of had a similar in that. Okay. I think I could see her going on more and playing these harder, edgier characters that you almost want to hate. But as much as she's kind of the one you want to hate in this, she's not the worst. I mean, it's just there's so many
I
other
don't know.
worse
I
things
think
in
she
there.
is the
So
worst.
I don't know. I think she's definitely. I think what it is it was such a where she definitely took a lot of the brunt this last
Yeah.
year of being the worst. When it really boiled down to it, you got Bateman. His character, comes in and he's all of a sudden, not the same. Marty's got changes a lot in this last season and becomes more of a jerk and asshole. And you're seeing him being the person that you like in a way that they, really Ruthie's the one that they set up to want to hate. They were trying to make her this, but they can't because they did everything they could to hurt this girl, and
Yeah.
everything that what she went through was because of the birds showing up. So, but I don't know. I think that as much as you want to hate him, you kind of almost hate them all in a lot of ways.
Mhm.
The sun was ticking me off this last season. The
The sun annoyed me since season 1.
yeah.
Oh,
Well,
they really set him up. I
Yeah.
thought they were turning him into like the next Dexter. Like, remember, like he was shooting animals and like he was
Mhm.
really weird in season 1.
Yeah.
And I thought they were gonna like turn him into some weird like future serial killer, which they could do a spin-off and turn him into that.
Yeah.
But
well, he became like his dad. His dad
Yeah.
was methodical.
mhm.
It's the best way to put it. And that's the way he was. The kid was killed, got into animal stuff, so like that. He was acting out as a 11, 12-year-old.
Right.
And you're in the country now, and well, that's what people do in the country, as he thinks is, well, we kill animals and mutilate them or whatever. But he really became, he started hating his family, blamed them for everything, of course. But then went against them. It's like, what you're doing, you're going over to the enemy, and you already know how bad they are. The what's her name that ran the farm? They killed the husband off after what, season 1?
Well, plus she kidnapped the son
Yeah.
and cut his hair all bad.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, he kept bad haircuts the rest of the series. He never got a good haircut. Poor kid.
But so yeah, I mean, he was just irritating as a character, not the actor, but the character. He played it so well, and so I didn't like him very much. The daughter, I thought they were going to do a little bit more with her, but I really felt they didn't do a ton with her enough to bring her out. She was kind of this little go between.
Yeah.
And it's like she actually they were gonna have her start her own thing up, but she really didn't. But she kind of fell in line with everything a little faster. So
I felt like, I to me it felt like they had plans of a bigger storyline for her, but she just kept getting relegated to the background because of time constraints or something. I felt like it was always like they were gonna do something, but never did.
Yeah, they like, well, we got this daughter character. We should do some stuff with that. But realistically, Ruthie was the daughter to Marty.
Yes. Yeah.
In a lot of ways, because he was always, no matter what she did, he was there to try to rescue her, try to save her, things like that. And I love Ruthie. Ruthie was great. She was just an awesome character. Julia Garner plays her
spectacularly.
And now she's in the Inventing Anna series that's on Netflix. I watched a couple episodes. I really didn't care for it. It had nothing to do with her as playing the character. I just didn't care for the storyline. And I know it's based on a true story and all that. I just wasn't getting into it. I may go back and revisit it again just because I like her a lot.
Yeah.
In that.
She's a great actress. I mean, the character of Ruth is completely opposite of Julia Gardner in real life. She doesn't have the confidence. She's not used to all that swearing. Like there was a lot of phrases. She's like, really had to like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm going to say this. But over time, she was able to get more comfortable with it. But
oh God,
Ruth had the best one-liners.
Oh yeah, she swears like Samuel L. Jackson in this.
She swears like Kevin Miner.
Yeah, it just reason I say like Samuel L. Jackson is it just rolls off her tongue as a natural thing. It's like breathing to her. Right. And when we
but for the actress, it's not. So that shows how good of a job she did.
Yeah, she's just fantastic. And that I really the first season was like, okay, she's good. As the series went on, she just got better and better and better. And when she owned the role, she owned, the show in a lot of ways. And without her playing that role, if someone else in the role, it'd be difficult for that show to be good because as good as Bateman is, as Lenny is, as a conflict, I think that they were made better by Julia Garner playing Ruthie. really brought so much out of the whole series was what she brought to it. So
I saw an interview with her. I can't remember if it was Jimmy Fallon or I can't remember who, but like they wanted her to swear at them as Ruth. like please tell me off. Tell me to F off as Ruth. So she did some kind of big F bomb line and everyone's like cheering. So for me overall, the series, I absolutely love the series, the entire series. Even this last season, Jill and I, every episode, we couldn't wait to get to the next episode. Our biggest problem was one, we didn't realize we were on the last episode. So when it ended and Netflix then goes to credits, we're like, wait a minute, where's the next episode? So the way it ended for us, it felt like there should have been one more episode, but I was fine with how it ended. The only part negative we have is the relationship of Marty and Wendy, the way it was going and how suddenly it shifted gears to Marty now being loyal to Wendy. They were leading up to them separating once this was all over and all this stuff. But then the car crash happens and all of a sudden he's like, he was just telling his daughter how his mom's ruining everything and how everything's about her. And so it's just, to me, like there some kind of event where Wendy was right and Marty would have killed everybody had it gone his way to make him see like, okay, her way is right. That might have done it for me, but the way it happened, it just didn't feel natural because Wendy was undermining every time he had a plan. She would undermine it and then complain that it didn't go right.
I think a lot of it had to boil down to he didn't just like completely flip. I think a lot of boiled down to the fact that he knows the way she is. He knows how she is. He's been with her this long and it's always been this way. And after the accident, it was more of, I really have no one else. This is what I have. I might as well just own it and go forward.
Yeah,
and that's how I felt with it. I think there'll be some changes. And I noticed that with that, all of them kind of felt that way, even the kids. And it's like, this is our family. This is who we are. So they kind of bonded in that last little bit. But the thing too was they left it open, in my opinion. Now, Ruthie gets shot by Javi's mom. She kills Javi, nobody could care. Gives a crap about the farmer woman at all. Her cousin, though, her cousin gets killed, and she's gonna move heaven and hell just to go and kill everybody that killed her cousin. Because in a lot of ways, they never showed it as such. It was a very incestuous relationship,
right?
And that was her family. That's all she cared about. So yeah, it was what was it? It was the Langmores. What was her name? I'm blanking on it. I'm trying to find it here.
And who?
The farmer, Darlene.
Darlene and Snell.
Yeah, Snell. Nobody cared about her getting killed, but so she kills, goes after Javi, and it's like, takes him out. And I was surprised on this one though. The first episode of the second half of the season, he gets killed right away. It changed everything I thought they were going to do. For this last half, I thought there's gonna be more tied into that, and then they've got the main boss, and they're gonna try to bring him back around, for the cartel and that. But then they introduce his mom, kind of out of nowhere.
I wasn't a fan of of Camille or whatever. I really liked Omar Navarro, as a character. What I thought was going to happen was when Ruth confronts Wendy, saying she wants to go after Javi, and Wendy lies, saying, "Oh, he went back to Mexico," but Ruth knows he didn't. So she makes Wendy swear on it, and then she says, "I'm going to hold you to that." Once she got to Chicago and saw for herself Javi actually was there, I thought she was going to shift her anger to Wendy and kill Wendy, saying, "I'm going to hold you to that. You swore, and I'm holding you to it," and then blow her away. And then I always envisioned something happening, whether through Javi or someone else, where Ruth was going to be killed at the end, but then Marty would step up and save her.
Right.
That's how I thought. Now, it didn't go the way I wanted, but I still loved the ending.
Yeah.
It doesn't, it's fine that it
Well,
leaves
and
it
the way they
open.
left it open with, the birds taking out, basically all coming together at the end there, and that Ruthie was shot, but we didn't fully see Ruthie being dead.
Right.
I think that they left it open for them to revisit down the road and maybe do like an Ozark movie or something to that. Because they didn't. There was not a finite ending to this.
Now I was reading today. They're not. There's no plans for it at this time, but they're not closing the door to it. An idea of a spin-off series.
Yeah.
Now with Marty and Wendy leaving and going back to Chicago, there is a vacuum that's created in the Ozarks. The Snells are gone. The Langmores are gone. The birds are gone. There is now a vacuum. And usually when there's a vacuum in a place that had a lot of money, others will want to come in. So they do have the door open that they could continue the series with all new people.
Yep.
And have it in the same setting. And it's just the new families competing to take over. We know the land is good for growing opium or whatever it is they grow and stuff like that. So somebody's going to want to move in.
Right. I would think so. And that's kind of where I think that if they were revisited again with a spinoff, I think they might go right back to Ruthie. The birds leave. She wasn't killed.
I'm trying to find a photo. I'm not finding one. Maybe you can. I'm trying to find a photo, a screen of her death scene, just so we can make sure. Because I think you're right. I think the gunshot is actually her shoulder, if I remember right. But I'm trying to find a photo just to confirm if that's true. But I'm not seeing a photo. That's what I'm trying to find, but I'm not finding one. But I thought it was like here, up in the shoulder area, not here in the heart area.
Yeah.
But so and the other, I guess, deciding factor will be Julia Garner. Her star power is rising. So she may just be doing too well to go back to doing this. So,
that's possible. That's possible. But yeah, I was looking at, there's one article here from Total Film, and it's funny. The Chris Mundy, who worked, was guy in the series here, he said he breaks down that death, and they put that with kind of these stars around it. I think that there's definitely a lot of speculation as to whether or not Ruthie did die. It's the first thing I thought, because I was like, as we know from a lot of series and movies, stuff like that, is until you see them actually dead. I mean, South Park covered it. When South Park decided to kill Chef off, they did this whole thing. They had to use all this voice because they had a big fight with what's his name, voice Chef. Well, he was still alive, but he was still alive when they did this. So he used a lot of his dialogue, and they basically made him a pedophile. Well, he goes and he dies and he falls down, and Cartman goes, "Oh, he's not dead. When they're dead, they crap themselves," and he craps himself. So that's how they confirmed he was actually dead. But there's always some kind of like finite thing. If you know they're dead, they're dead. They kind of make a finite way of showing it, either a funeral and the body's there and everything else, or a double tap to the head.
Right. Which every time, like when she killed Javi, I'm like, shoot him in the head.
Yeah.
She didn't. But I guess he really did die. But
yeah.
Just like Breaking Bad, if you really look at the death scene of Walter White at the end, he collapses, but as it's zooming out and he's laying down, he collapses just as the cops are moving in. So it is very plausible that they could start medical procedures right away on him and revive him. So they can leave it where it's just where it is and he's dead. Or if they ever wanted to continue the series down the road, that's all they have to do is say, yep, they got there and they perform medical attention on them. People get shot and are revived in real life.
Another aspect of the show that I enjoyed a little bit was the Richard Thomas role playing Wendy's dad.
It's from the Waltons.
What I found very interesting was, he's trying to be he's supposed to be this great saint of a man, and we know he's flawed because both his kids are flawed. And you come to find out, he may be spouting certain things, but he's an alcoholic and got some shady stuff going on. And the last half is really him trying to take the kids away from Wendy and Marty. And the kids were going to go with him at one point.
And you can see there's that one scene where Ruth witnesses the true version of him, how he manipulates Wendy. And you can really see how Wendy got that from him.
Yeah.
You know, so, but it also showed, I think Ruth gained a slight bit of compassion for Wendy after she witnessed how her dad was towards her.
Well, that's exactly what I felt with that one, was when she sat down with him, wanted to have a drink with him, knowing that he likes to drink and he can't stop when he starts. And then she messed him up big time. It was hilarious. I liked that whole scene. She pulls the gun on him and like, what are you gonna do? And she's like, basically Ruthie's like, I don't care what you think of her. She's got, no qualms about taking you out, no matter what it is.
She goes, I'm gonna shoot you in the head and not the top one. She said. Yep.
Well, Hot Tub Time Machine 2 said the best way to go out is a shotgun to the dick.
Well, one person in Ozark did have that, and
yeah,
I don't think they would recommend it again.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was the whole last bit. They did wrap up a lot of stuff. I mean, they killed off Navarre. It was all orchestrated. The birds did everything they could to get themselves out.
The hard part of any series coming to an end, I really think Breaking Bad had the most perfect ending of a series. Any series, it's hard because on one level you want to give fans what they want, but on the other level you got to do it in a way where they don't just say, oh, see, that was predictable. Like if Ozark did everything I wanted to happen, a part of me probably would be saying, yeah, see, that was so predictable.
Yeah,
I knew
see,
Ruth
and
was
that's
so that's the hard part for endings.
And that's the whole thing. As much as we want certain things, I'm glad the twist they did, brought everything around to a different way. And it's like everything you read online. Oh no, Ruthie's dead. She got killed. That was a big deal about it. I still think she's not. But if they wanted to come back, but it was also one of the things where it showed that the birds themselves, they were willing to sacrifice anything to get away.
Well, at the end of the day, they really are. That's why I think they're the worst people out of the whole bunch. Is they, at the end of the day, there is no morals that they will stand up to. Like even knowing Ruthie was leaving for her death, they were silent.
Yeah,
they let it happen.
And they did set up a lot though with the Ruthie dying, of her reflecting back on the things in her life she cared about.
So, anytime a character starts finding happiness, it's soon to be over.
Yep.
Don't find it. Stay away from happiness.
Oh yeah.
But anyways, as far as the series goes, I highly recommend it. If you haven't watched Ozark, we gave some spoilers away, but it's still it's one of those series. Like every few years, I wouldn't mind revisiting it and watching it.
Yep. And then last little thing about it was the guy who played the mob boss or the cartel boss. He popped up on The Rookie recently. And
okay.
He's going to be starring in the spinoff they're doing called The Rookie Feds, and it was fun to see him go from cartel boss to FBI agent.
Yeah. Well, from the Ozarks, it sounds like they're almost the same. The FBI was manipulating the drug cartel, basically blackmailing the cartel to do drug deals for them and bring money in.
Yeah.
Their own form of money laundering.
Exactly. So,
well, I'm good with Ozark. How about you?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, let's talk the just released She-Hulk trailer came out.
Yeah.
So this is on the Marvel.com website here. So we're not it says watch on YouTube, but we're going through Marvel.com. So
yeah.
I'm going to.
They got a problem, screw them.
Play the trailer, then we're going to talk about it.
All right.
Being a superhero is a trial by fire. Who's gonna protect the world if it's not people like you?
Demanding job.
We just started a superhuman law division, and I want you to be the face of it.
And a frustrating family.
Because we didn't ask for this, but you still got to deal with it. Your transformations are triggered by anger and fear.
Those are like the baseline of any woman just existing.
Oh,
Bruce, kind of feels like if I don't transform, I'm gonna die.
Yes, yes, yes. No, no.
I just want to be a normal, anonymous lawyer.
Can you tell us where She-Hulk is?
Jen, you're a story now.
Girl, your ass looks crazy right You could be an Avenger.
Oh, I'm not a superhero. That is for billionaires and narcissists and adult orphans for some reason. Is there anything more depressing than dating in your 30s?
Yeah, this is the best date I've had in a while.
Oh,
Should we split some fries?
let's get those to go.
So there's the. And if you're not familiar with the comics, the She-Hulk series always had a lighter tone to it.
Oh, a lot of comedy. There was a great run in the mid 2000s. That was a lot of fun. And even dealt with some of the multiverse stuff because there was definitely a little bit of that crossover because she's a lawyer in that, and there was something going on with that. But what was it? Trying to think which there was it was her and Wolverine. Basically, the joke of her picking up the guy and going to bed. She did that in the comics where she would pick up people and that. But she tried to hook up with Wolverine, and I'm trying to think which one was I forget which character it was. One of the Magneto's people, and he goes, "Oh, I don't want so and so sloppy seconds." That was the actual dialogue in the comic.
Yeah, I think they even broke the fourth wall in the She-Hulk series too, if I remember right. But here, I want to show this. So I thought this was interesting. We got him. He was in the Hulk. He was Abomination.
Yes, that's Tim Roth.
Yeah, so they have him popping in, which we just saw him Abomination on Shang-Chi.
Yeah,
we saw him make an appearance. So they've been kind of bringing that in. That's been cool. Most of the criticism right now is about the CGI, which I also am not happy with the CGI. However, this is May, and it's not uncommon for these type of shows. They don't have the full final.
Yeah, and the dialogue right now is very much like the series. So I'm excited about that, but definitely hopefully they will tweak the CGI a little bit. I pulled it up. It was there's a list here. The number one love interest for her was Juggernaut, happened in Uncanny X-Men number 435. So in the October 2007 issue of She-Hulk, it has Jen Walters from Earth A. Slept with the big guy, but and it wasn't her. It was a different She-Hulk. And Wolverine said his quotes, "I don't want Juggernaut sloppy seconds." So I'm kind of hoping they are able to revisit some of the superhero stuff, and maybe we won't see any X-Men at this point, but we could eventually see something down the road along that lines. But yeah, I'm excited about the writing of this and hoping that it stays kind of more true to the comic in terms of the comedy and things like that they always threw in.
Other and stuff. They like to look at the more real world circumstances of things sometimes. And they're creating a superhero law division. I mean, that we've seen that in things like The Incredibles and other things. Like in the real world, if somebody just destroyed a city, there's probably going to be lawsuits. And who's paying for the damages? So it's fun to see. I think it'll be a fun side thing. And she's always been a lawyer, throughout the series before, where she would she always intermingled different than other superheroes. She just was herself, and she would show up to court fully green and, in her lawyer suit and stuff. It'll also be interesting to see if they tie Matt Murdock in.
Yes,
and he's also a lawyer.
I'm thinking they will. We'll see, maybe in a case or something in one episodes. And also right now, it sounds like, at least for the beginning of this series, there is there's She-Hulk and then her normal self, and they're separated as two different people.
In the She-Hulk comic, which she was stuck in that form, wasn't she? Like she didn't go back and forth. I don't remember.
I think at one point they ended up keeping her in that form for a long time. So, but yeah, I think that with this it started off though where she would transform. But yeah, Jennifer Walters being the character as the lawyer. And of course, the way she got in the comics was it was emergency blood transfusion from her cousin Bruce Banner. She got a milder version of the Hulk condition, which changed how she was. Where he was always mad and angry, it basically increased her libido.
Right.
So, but she retains who she is for the most part. She's got her intelligence, emotional control, things like that. But yeah, I'm trying to remember if I remember, most times she was the She-Hulk character in the last series I read, which was around the 2007 series. So
here's a still screen here. So when you look closely at it, you can definitely tell this is CGI. But when you see the Bruce Banner ones, that's the high-end CGI.
Yeah.
So that's why I think if they were going to leave her at this level of CGI right now, I don't think they would include Bruce Banner the way they are.
And you look at the clothes, everything else, it's still got a very hard, rigid look to it where they haven't smoothed it out. So that could be something we
haven't done the final render yet.
Right. So, I think that's what we'll see next. So
yeah. So I think it's gonna, time will tell once it comes out, because I think it's August. They have time to do those final renders. I don't think this is the final look right here. I think it's just to give us, the fan, a taste of what's coming.
Right. So August 17th is when we'll see that. I'm excited to see it. I'm looking forward to it. Nice change of pace from some of the other series they've done.
Fun. Another thing on Marvel I noticed when I was there, let's get back to the Marvel page. They also have, I got to share it again because I stopped sharing it. Let me share the screen. So if you go to marvel.com, they're also showing the Echo first look. So looks like they're underway in production there. So they're starting to share some information there. So this is on the way. Let's see. And it looks like, I'm trying to see, has it been confirmed if Hawkeye will be in the Echo series?
My understanding from what I've read so far is he will not. In fact, he's pretty much done.
Okay.
And so we will not see him again, I think, except when he hands off the mantle of Hawkeye officially, probably if they do a Hawkeye season 2 or in another series, to what's her name, because he takes her back with him, and I think that'll be one of the last times we see Jeremy Renner in the role.
Okay.
So
in the StreamYard, just so people can go to it again. To become a backer, just go to the link that's posting in the comments there. I'll pop up with some live videos here and there, but we're only going to do our typical nighttime one. I'm just going to do for the finale on the last night. Otherwise, I'll just pop in sporadically. But it's look forward to getting this in everybody's hands. Here's some examples of some of the illustrations for some of the chapters. So good times. And if you think you know the story, I don't think you do if you only know it through pop culture. It's definitely different than what Hollywood and other things have portrayed. So that's why we're doing this.
Very cool. Well, hey, join us next week and we'll talk some more fun stuff. Catch up on whatever news shows we got, and probably do a little speculation on the upcoming Kenobi series, which launches a week from Friday.
Yeah, they're starting to. They got photos, or they did the whole. What's her name? Ann Leibovitz, or whatever her name is. She's that photographer that she always does Star Wars shoots for Vanity Fair.
Yep.
They did a great photo shoot with Kenobi, Mandalorian, and all them. It's fun hearing the actors, Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen, talk about just the love they're getting about the prequels. They're like, it took 10 years to get it, but and now because of the experience of doing this, both on the side of interacting with fans, but also the Kenobi series itself, Ewan McGregor now wants to do more um, more Kenobi stuff. Did you see this? Kathleen Kennedy annoys me. So they're doing these articles now how Kathleen Kennedy is saying they learned from Solo that they can't recast the legacy characters and they won't do it ever again because of the failure of Solo. And had they hired Anthony Ingruber from the start, who was a perfect young Harrison Ford, both in looks and voice, and he's a legitimate actor, so it's not like he's just some guy off the street doing impressions. They hired him from the start and hired Ron Howard from the start to make this a truly accurate film towards the script that was written. It would have been a home run.
Well, it goes against what she just said there. Kenobi completely squashes that because Ewan McGregor is not the legacy character. He was
right.
He was the recast. So
he was the recast, and we love him.
Yeah,
but he did a version true to the original.
Yeah, and the problem was, you know, you can see it in the Solo. The actor playing Han Solo in this, there was times he felt a little more Solo, and times he wasn't. That's because they brought in Ron Howard to shoot this film after the fact. It had already been shot a bunch, but he had to use existing footage, and you could tell where they worked with and fixed character versus when he wasn't feeling as Solo. And yes, the other actor I think would have been better, but we have, and they say, oh, we're not going to recast. Like, just she needs to go away.
Yeah.
You know, it's all about who they actually get to as the head of people, and people actually need to care about Star Wars and not about being woke and trying to change everything that was.
Yeah, and the other thing is she needs to stand up and take responsibility. She hired 2 directors for that show. For the Solo movie that didn't care about Star Wars. They decided they were doing a comedy that was going to mock Star Wars. It was a complete joke and disaster of what they were doing. The only thing that the reason why Solo got saved as much as it did is the failure of Rian Johnson and The Last Jedi. And then finally Kathleen Kennedy's like, oh, maybe we need to see what they're doing. And then they saw what they shot and they're like, oh my.
Yeah, it was horrible. And and they couldn't fix The Last Jedi because it was already done and they were releasing it in just a few months, where at least they were able to stop production on Solo. Ron Howard came in, got a hold of Kazan, who him and his son had wrote it, and said, okay, let's fix this. And they all came in and fixed it. And Solo's not a bad movie. It's not as good as it could have been, but that's strictly, I blame the previous 2 directors because they came in and they'd spent so much money and shot so much that they couldn't just wipe out everything. They had to kind of pick up within and try to fix stuff.
Yeah. I wanted to, and then where was this? And then they finally came out, Lucasfilm, and has said the Rian Johnson Star Wars trilogy is officially on hold. Now they still won't say canceled, but they're
it's been on hold a couple times. So
nobody wants Rian Johnson. The only fans that want Rian Johnson's movie are the ones that were like, we're tired of Han Solo. We're tired of the story. We're tired of good and evil. We want somebody who's going to change it up. It's like, well, then you don't want Star Wars. You want something else.
And that's exactly what Rian Johnson, if he wants to do something else, that's fine. But when you come into an established and this is where I think it's a lot of these woke people want to do this, is they come into an established franchise and they want to destroy and change everything. And it's like, no, if what you want is what you're saying, go create something new. Don't destroy something that people already are excited about.
Well, even on the behind the scenes stuff with Last Jedi, Rian Johnson, when you listen to him, all he did was make a glorified fan film because per his words, well, like, when we were doing the scene, I thought, well, what if Luke just didn't like the Force anymore? Like, he wasn't coordinating to be part of a larger story. He just, all the what ifs he had in his.
Yeah, he got a rundown of what the first episode, Force Awakens was, and hit a couple little points, not much, but then changed everything else about it. I mean, we look at it, he took Finn. Everybody talks about justice for Finn. Finn didn't the arc his character, but that's Rian Johnson. Rian Johnson.
It was the woke.
Yeah, as the woke director, took him back to the character that he was at the beginning of Force Awakens, instead of the hero he should have been in the second movie there to lead into the third one.
Right. Yeah, it was the
So-
woke director who destroyed the character, but all the
Right.
woke people love the Finn storyline. Finn had
Mhm.
for me personally, I loved episode 7.
Yes.
I wish Abrams or someone wrote, they needed one consistent voice to write all 3 movies.
Yeah.
And then just hire a director and say, this is the movie you're making. And if you don't like it, you can leave. We're not here to make your vision of Star Wars. We're here to tell this story arc. I think the story arc they set up would have worked.
Lucas did that with the original Star Wars trilogy. He did the first one, and then he brought in people on Empire and Jedi, but he oversaw the entire production.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so I think, I think it'll never happen. Just like the D&D from Game of Thrones. What happened to their trilogy? That went away.
But everything I was seeing, and I pulled it up, it was about a day ago. I saw this, and Taika Waititi has got supposedly the 2023 December slot for the next movie. The Patty Jenkins, because of the last Wonder Woman, which is a shame, they canceled or put hers on hold.
Did they, or did they push it back a year?
They may push it back. Last I saw, it was on hold. But there was all this talk about, Wonder Woman 1984 sucked, so we don't know if we want to have her do this. And I was like, no, Wonder Woman 1984 didn't suck because of Patty Jenkins. 1984 sucked because of the corporate heads at Warner Brothers coming in and messing with it. And she did exactly what they wanted her to do. She directed the movie they gave her, and it was all changed around her while she started to direct it, and she's taking the fallout for it, and it had nothing to do with her, in my opinion.
Yeah,
because she did a great job. Yeah.
She was let go by Warner Brothers for the next Wonder Woman too, which is a shame. Patty Jenkins did an amazing job when the studio let her do her job.
Right.
Now this is from March. This is from March 23rd, so not long ago.
Okay.
Star Wars Rogue Squadron movie receives exciting update. So let's see. It says it's scheduled for 2023.
But the new article says that that's not going to be the Taika Waititi movie.
No, this says it was May fans are hoping. Let's see here, Patty Jenkins. This sounds like Patty Jenkins is still attached.
Yeah, well,
which I hope she is.
I do too.
And it says Patty Jenkins was meeting with Michael Stackpole, who wrote the X-Wing series that Rogue Squadron is based on.
Okay.
For the people, the fans of the old expanded universe series, the Legacy series, or whatever they're calling it now, Legend series. Yeah. Michael Stackpole wrote those series, and we loved the X-Wing series.
They were good books.
Yeah, and this is trying to follow that same feeling and story of that. So if Michael Stackpole is part of this, combined with Patty Jenkins, I really think this will be excellent.
Okay. Well, the update from May 17th. So this is
so this is newer. Yesterday.
Yes. In Vanity Fair, Kathleen Kennedy said the next Star Wars movie will be Taika Waititi's mysterious upcoming project. They're giving no details about it at all. The only thing they said was it's going to be written by Christy Wilson Cairns, who wrote the script for the movie 1917. No further plot details. They've not say where it ties in. I know that he directed Waititi's a good director, and he loves Star Wars, and he's friends with the Mandalorian guys. So,
and he directed some episodes of Mandalorian.
Yeah,
I think, didn't he?
Yeah, he did the 8th episode of the Mandalorian in the first season. And Redemption. He also voiced the assassin droid IG-11. So he's been around. And then we have the other series stuff coming out. But right now, there is no update on that. I don't want it to go away. I wanted to see what she would do, because her article, when she got announced, she did an interview. Her father had been a World War II pilot, so she comes from that perspective as well, from what her father had and all that. And I was like, that's perfect. That's exactly what we need to have for a Rogue Squadron movie, is someone that comes in realizing where Lucas got all his dogfighting from was from all the World War II based footage and movies and things like that. So,
right. Yeah, so they haven't said anything about, like you said, they're not releasing it. So, I mean, it could be the Rogue Squadron movie and he replaced her, or it's a completely separate thing. Since they're keeping it so quiet, I think if he replaced her, they would just say it's Rogue Squadron. I have a feeling I think Kathleen Kennedy's getting desperate to have a win under her belt because so far all her projects, like the New Republic or whatever it is, the series and the stuff her fingerprints on are not doing well. Favreau and Filoni stuff is doing well. I have a feeling she might dip her toe into the Old Republic stuff, which fans are desperate for. So that would be cool if that happens, but we don't know.
Yeah. Now going back to November in the Hollywood Reporter, it did mention that her and the writer, they've been developing that they were going to start production this year. But they're saying the producers and filmmaking team came to a realization that her schedule and other commitments wouldn't allow for the window needed to make the movie. And that Squadron's been taken off the production schedule at this time. Not been canceled, just not on a production schedule right now. Yeah. I also think that with reading into that, they knew this was in November. They knew that the Wonder Woman movie was, not going to.
A thought just came to me. Mm-hmm. They're coming forward with the Kenobi series, the Ahsoka series, and all these things.
Yeah.
They might be leaving it untitled because it could be whatever events are leading together through these different series. It could be we're going to get it. There's been rumors of a Darth Vader movie coming.
Yeah.
It could be they don't want to reveal that because they want the Ahsoka and Kenobi series to play out first before they reveal what he's working on.
Right.
So I wonder if it could be tied into that too, but yeah, that's just pure speculation on my part.
Yeah. And there's a lot they can deal with depending which era they put him in.
Yeah. But I have been hearing rumors of a Vader movie.
Yeah. That's been popping up a lot lately because they were so excited with the work that Hayden did on Kenobi.
Yeah.
And if they did a Vader movie, this could take place either prior to Kenobi or even just after Kenobi, because there's still some years before A New Hope and Rogue Squadron comes in, and could tie some more of that stuff in there too.
Yeah, for sure. So, and actually in that time frame, pre New Hope, you could even bring Ben Mendelsohn back to be Director Krennic.
Yep.
Earlier in his career. He's a great actor. So it'd be fun to see him, and actually anybody from Rogue One movie would still be alive.
Because we got the Andor series still too.
Yep. Which obviously takes place before the Rogue One movie because he's alive.
Yeah. So we got Kenobi and Andor, which take place prior to Rogue One, and then the Ahsoka series is post Jedi.
So really the Kenobi and Andor series could tie in together. They could fall in the same time frame. We don't know what time frame Andor is yet, but it's possible.
Yeah.
And then we got the Ahsoka series. There's a lot of cool stuff that can happen this time frame. Darth Maul is technically alive during the Kenobi series here. He didn't die yet. So there could be Crimson Dawn stuff. I mean, there's a lot of really cool potential here. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I am too. I'm hoping to see what they do. And as long as Kathleen Kennedy can keep her woke behind out of it, we'll be fine.
I agree. We have spoken.
Yes. And on that note, join us next week. We'll see y'all later. Bye.